That One Piece chapter though, Sabo for the motherfucking win as always. Oh my gosh, let's talk about this. By the way, this ain't gonna be as constructive as I would like it to be because literally right after I end this recording of this video, I'm heading from Vegas to LA on a road trip yet again. So I gotta do this quick, but I just had to talk about this One Piece chapter at the very least. I had to talk about what the fuck Sabo done did in this chapter. Oh my gosh, biggest question I have right now. Is Burgess dead after what Sabo did? And you can see that Sabo got that temper that I fucking love. And honestly, finding out that shit about Ace, like, this right here was one of my favorite chapters yet again of Dressrosa, and this was after the aftermath. Like, fuck last week's chapter, whatever. Last week's chapter, barely anything happened. That was mediocre as fuck. But this week's chapter, oh my gosh, yes! Another big thing, like, this is bringing in a bigger question. What was Sabo doing when Burgess said, napping, were ya? Like, oh my god, Burgess talking that shit. Just so much of this chapter, especially the whole Sabo stuff, honestly. That's what ruled this entire chapter. Like, you gotta think for a second. When they were talking on Transponder and Koala and everything, like, they were like, well, you know, he picks up when he wants to pick up and this, that, and third. Sabo got some fucking authority up in that bitch. And I think a big part of it is because Monkey D. Dragon loves his son, possibly. Well, I mean, he saved him multiple times. That's his son's brother, and you know, they're Nakama for life brothers, so he probably gave him a big amount of authority. But what was Sabo doing when Ace died? Could it possibly be that he was unconscious, he was in a coma all this time up until that particular point, and he finally woke up? Did Dragon have him on punishment? What the fuck was Sabo doing? Biggest question. You can see that he regrets it, so something there. Possibly either he was literally just not aware of anything because he was maybe in a deep slumber. Maybe the techniques that he learned, he had to go into some sort of a coma that didn't allow him to. Dragon just ultimately didn't let him go. Something there, but just the epicness that easily owned the motherfucking chapter. Yeah, there was some other stuff afterwards or whatever, but Sabo for the motherfucking win. That was so hype and I absolutely loved it. Honestly, like, it's crazy that this is an aftermath chapter. Doflamingo's already been knocked the fuck out, but this was still better than a lot of the other shit that happened just because it was so serious, it was so real, and it honestly just felt fucking amazing. Now, the bounties are easily going up for Luffy and Law at the end of the chapter, finding out that the world found out finally what happened on Dressrosa and everything, so the bounties are about to go up. Fujitora easily, you can see the development yet again from what he already had proclaimed whatnot about wanting to change the system, get rid of the Shichibukai stuff, and then at the end him bowing down or whatever. Easily different from an Akainu. I'm surprised that Akainu would pick somebody like that when Akainu is a fucking piece of shit and don't give a fuck. Fujitora, for a man to get down and bow down and say, please forgive us for what we did to you. I'm so sorry. I can't believe what happened to you or whatever. Like, some of the chapter didn't really care for a lot of, not necessarily that it was bad because it needs to happen. You know, finally King Riku needs to get back on his role and, you know, all the sorrow, this and that. Kind of felt a little bit stretched out, whatever. But to see Fujitora, that is just in and of itself fucking amazing. Him getting down and bowing down to King Riku, that was cool. And the way they even incorporated Elizabello in there and him saying, you know, oh, you're king, I can't see a king go through this, man, come on, you gotta take up that role, whatnot. That was cool as well, once again making the Coliseum fighters relevant and a big part in this arc, because I mean, at the end of the day, Oda made sure to keep them relevant, even if it was just to put them here and there, and that was kind of cool to see a manly man like Elizabello. I know he's that one punch motherfucker, but I think that was a pretty cool scene as well. And overall, this chapter was fucking bomb ass, kick ass, anywhere from like an 8 to an 8.5, especially Sabo roasting Burgess in his motherfucking face. That was just hype as shit, honestly. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen to Doflamingo. All the executives are down, and also it's making me wonder exactly Sabo and them. I think they came more than just to save Luffy, talking about the list that they needed to grab, this, that, and the third. Something there happened or whatever, and I could be mistaken again. I'm rushing, trying to get this done and whatnot, but it could have been that Koala was talking about the list, or it could have been the narration or whatever, where they were talking about like all the executives are down and blah blah blah. But again, just fucking awesome chapter, honestly, and I can't wait to find out what was Sabo doing. Biggest questions right now, what do you guys think? Where was Sabo? What was he doing? Was he still in a coma? Was he on punishment? Was he on training somewhere and didn't find out about it? Because if you watch the anime, which at the end of the day they do have to get some improvement and whatnot, you can see that he was ultimately like shocked and devastated when he found out and started crying. So he really wasn't aware of what happened or whatever. And I don't know what Burgess was thinking, trying to push him to the edge to get roasted the fuck up. I don't know if that was part of his plan or whatnot, but Burgess, you done fucked up because Sabo roasted that ass, and I loved every minute of it. Your overall thoughts of this chapter? What do you think the bounties are going to be now for Luffy and Law? What's going to happen to Doflamingo? And what do you think about Fujitora? I wouldn't necessarily even call that development. It was more so development of the situation and seeing Fujitora react to it, because, I mean, Fujitora came as a humble guy to begin with, and you could see that he was a decent person. He wasn't a knockout unit. He was more so like an Aokiji mixed with his own morals and his own ambition or whatever. Your overall thoughts of the chapter? Honestly, the events of what Sabo did was one of the most badass things that happened in this entire arc, and just seeing what Ace's last message was, don't tell my little brothers. It makes me really wonder, did Ace know what he was? Did he realize how much of a fucking high bounty he had and ultimately his role in the world? Like, crazy shit. Your world does a chapter fucking hype as shit, but that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.